Right, well, after that, brilliant, thanks. I'm going to show you. Good. What is Kodu? Well, yeah, I'm going to show you this thing called Kodu. I can't raise it. Oh, brilliant, well done, good. I'm going to show you this thing called Kodu. You've probably seen it, which is quite disappointing after this. It's a free download from Microsoft. And basically what it is, it's a 3D games programming language that children can use, key stage 2 to 4, I guess it's probably appropriate for. And basically, it allows children to make their own 3D games without having to know any sort of coding, because I don't know any technical stuff at all. And I've managed to make some absolutely brilliant games. What's going to happen for the next sort of 6.5 minutes is you're going to watch me try and build a game. I'm going to say about 7 words in 7 minutes, because I'll forget you're here. But I'll show you. If you've not seen it before, it's really cool. So it's this thing here. It's, as I say, it's a free download. And I've made probably about 15 or 20 games in the last sort of 6 months or so. And every single one of them has been, oh dear, it's all gone wrong. We'll get it. Every single one of them has been significantly poorer than the creations that the children come up with, which is it's kind of great. Oh, there we go. There we are. Right. That is Kodu. That's your friend and companion throughout the journey.
Sorry, is that K-O-D-U?
K-O-D-U, yeah. That's it. There we go. This is Kodu. This is the Kodu Game Lab. I'm going to start from the very beginning of the process, which is to open up a brand new world. Your levels, your 3D creations are called worlds. So I'm going to load a world, and there's an absolute mountain of sort of exemplar games and tutorials that your kids can sort of rifle through as they're learning the process. Now I'm using an Xbox 360 controller. You can use a keyboard and a mouse, it works absolutely fine. But I bought these from somewhere for about 17 quid each. We bought 64 of them because we had some money to spend. But you don't need them. I just think the kids kind of like them more. Although I thought it was going to be a really good idea to buy 64 Xbox 360 controllers. I thought they'd get to the lesson and I'd walk in with this box of controllers and they'd be, oh, Mr. Mayoh, look at what you've done for us. What they actually said was, they're the cheap rip-off versions. Where's the authentic ones? All right, thanks, mate. That's £1,000 well spent. So I'm going to just open up one that is just purely to show you how easy it is. One that is a new world, and that is literally entirely blank other than for kind of square of grass. So I'm going to play that. And what's great about Kodu is that it doesn't do anything for you at all. You have to tell it to do everything. You have to program every single aspect of it. You can use the controller to kind of zoom in and out and move around, which is great. But other than that, you have to make it do stuff. So there's a really, really nice visual edit menu, which looks like this. And the controller just makes it a little bit easier to operate. You can do it with the keyboard, but I think it's nicer if you can afford to buy some controllers. I'm going to start by painting some ground. So this tool here is the kind of ground tool. And your list of options for what you can do with it appear down the left-hand side. You can make the brush bigger and smaller so that you can paint things on the ground faster. And if you press the yellow button, you get an absolute mountain. Obviously, this is the bit where I don't read the instructions and forget what I'm doing. There's an absolute mountain of different grounds that you can sort of paint, which is really nice. So the kids start to build a world based on. Let's go for that. I've no idea why, but we will. And how do we paint? There we go. So using one of the kind of trigger shoulder button things. This is the bit where I forget you're here. Right, so I don't know why we've done that. It looks a little bit like some kind of dodgy 1970s cafe. But that's what we're doing, for no apparent reason. And then from this point, you've got kind of a ground to kind of work around. And you can start to add things. So I'm going to add in some kind of character by opening up, not that menu, there we go. And you can't actually add that many things at the moment. I believe that they're developing it to add sort of additional things. 3 minutes left. So I'm going to add a character that I can control. These are the characters. And the fastest one that I've found is the cycle, because I'm a boy, I like things to go quite quick. So I'm going to choose to make my... At the moment, I'm going to play the game, in fact. I'm going to go back, I'm going to press the play button, here we go. This is what happens in my game in a minute. I can move the camera angles around, isn't it? Yeah, very nice. But I can't do anything. I'm trying to control the character, and nothing's happening, just little things sort of orientating me around the screen. And I can't do anything, because I haven't told it to do anything. And this is why, at this stage, I like the software. Because it's a really good way of getting children to think about what they need to do to make stuff happen. It's a proper cause and effect, logical thinking process. So to go back to the edit menu, we then have to actually physically ask it to do stuff. So if I program it, you get this really lovely little menu. So when X happens, do Y, effectively. So I'm going to say, when the gamepad, which is what I'm using to control the game, when the gamepad uses the left joystick, I would like the object that I'm programming to move forward. There we go. Seems sensible enough. So let's play the game and see if I've managed to program that in any logical way at all. There you go. So I use the left joystick and it moves forward. Simple as that. So I can start to orientate my character around this pretty dull and boring world. From this point on, I've only got about a minute left, but you can start to add objects in that the character can interact with. So we're in the process now of building. I've got a year 5 group of children who are starting to build games that are mainly just fun games because they want to build a game, but that look in some way like Whitby. We went on a residential to Whitby as part of a term's work that they've done, and so they know what Whitby looks like. Every single child, 90 of them, went to Whitby. And they're going to build a game that looks a bit like Whitby. So there are castles you can put in that they're going to try and recreate to look like the Abbey. They understand how to put in pools of water, because you can put in actual physical water that behaves just like water would in the real world, that you can kind of swim through and make sounds and splashes. And you can put in sand as a texture and grass as a texture and concrete. So they can start to build a world that looks vaguely like a place that they've just been to. So you can program bad guys and that kind of thing is Dracula. Looks nothing like Dracula, but the concept's the same sort of thing. So it's really quite nice. And you can make it collect things and make it a proper game. So, you know, collect 6 apples, win the game. The whole programming language is exactly the same for anything you ask it to do through this programming menu that looks like this. You can make it as complex or as simple as you want. And what's really nice is you can export the code. There we go. You can export the code so you can physically print it out onto a piece of paper and ask the children to examine if there are any mistakes. It's sometimes quite nice to look at it like this. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult, gifted and talented people, they can look at a physical sheet of paper with words on it and make it really quite a nice sort of extension for some of your more able children. That's kind of it really, so you can do loads more, but there we are.